Deno. Why we are exciting about Deno? So today in this video we will know more about Deno and we will develop a REST API using Deno and consume that API in our Angular app. So this video divided in two parts. Part 1 we will develop a REST API in Deno, and in the second part of the video we will consume that API in our Angular app. So stay tuned, we'll catch you in a moment. So here is a brief intro about Deno. Deno is a simple, modern and secure runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript that uses V8 and is built in Rust. Is created by Riandal. Riandal is also a creator of Node.js. It is a secure by default. It means no file, network or environment access unless explicitly enabled. To see a list of permission with example, type deno run -h. TypeScript built into Deno. So if you have experience in TypeScript, you can work with Deno easily. Own standard libraries. You can check it on deno.land and /std. It has a lot of libraries. For example, it has libraries for HTTP, it has library for forms, date and time, etc. Deno supports various third-party modules. You can go and check deno.land/x. So here they have a lot of third-party libraries. For example, Oak. Oak is known for building REST APIs. You can go and check it there. Deno supports various third-party modules as well. So if you want to check on this, you can just hit to deno.land and /manual. So this was the brief introduction. Okay, if you want to explore more about Deno, you can go to the Deno's website, deno.land, and you can read more about this. Thank you very much. Okay, to start with the Deno API, let's see the installation part of the Deno. And if you see here, we are at deno.land website where we have an installation section, and in this installation section they have explained various methods of installing Deno. If you have a shell, you want to use PowerShell, or you have a Mac, you want to use brew install Deno. And I mean, you can check on, it depends on you what system you have. Like for example, I have a MacBook, and I have a homebrew install in my MacBook, so I can simply use this brew install Deno. So what I can do is I can just copy this one, and I go to my VS Code terminal, and then I just paste it there, and then I just press enter. So what it'll do, it start since I have already Deno installed, so it is asking for update the Deno. What it says now that you have already a version 1.0.3, so maybe I don't need to install the Deno. And here it also mentioned that to upgrade Deno 1.05, run brew upgrade Deno, but I don't want to do it right now. Okay, so at this point, let me clear this console here. So first, since I have already installed the Deno, what I can do is if I do type Deno like this, I get the version of Deno 1.0.3, and if I press type 1+1 here, I get 2 because it's a REPL of Deno. Okay, and you can play around, like you can just say const greeting equal to good morning, and you can just press enter, and if you say greeting, it says, oh, sorry, the typo is triple E with triple E. I mistakenly do that. And if you see that here is printing good morning. So it has various option. Let me show you quickly. Let me cancel this one. Let me clear this one. And if you say Deno help, it will give you the various information about the Deno. It has a sub commands. Okay, it has a environment variables which you can use it. So for example, you can run the module directly here. You can the REPL which we shown here right now. It has a installation as well. You can directly execute this uh, the files here. For example, let me show you. For example, I go to the for example, I go to the standard library, okay, and here I choose for examples, okay, and for examples, let's say I choose this file, okay. These files give you the console welcome to Deno. Okay, I just take this file, copy, right, and then I go back to my terminal. Let me clear this up. I just say Deno run this one, welcome.ts. As soon as I run, I get this welcome to Deno console log, right? So you can see how easy it is. You don't need to install anything, right? And the second example, what we can check it here is that me go back to cancel and what? Oh, okay. We can just try this one, colors.ts. What it will print the console in some color. So okay, let me copy this one. I come here, I say Deno run, enter. And you see it prints the hello world in the blue background. How cool it is, okay? So let me clear this one. Now, now this was the part of to running the module files directly in the command line. Now we can try to install some scripts. So for example, let's take this file underscore server, okay, and we don't much care about the content of this file. What we can do is we can just copy this path and come to the terminal, and we say Deno run this and press enter, and then now it says that the you have a permission denied. Yes, because Deno run in the sandbox, and to access the files, you pass the flags, some of the flags, okay, if you want to read or if you want to get access of this file. So let's say Deno, pass the flag, Deno run, okay, allow, read, okay, hyphen hyphen, allow net, and then path of that file, okay. So what it says that, okay, give me the read access and give me the network access, okay, then press enter. So now you see that this after running this file, it gives us that the port is listening. Actually, the server is listening on this HTTP address. So if I just copy this address, okay, and I come to here, I just paste this address here and press enter. And then it says that, okay, you have basically two files already in this location or in this directory. So after that, now let's create a some files and see the action, the real action basically. So right now I have created this hello.ts file here. Okay, and what I can do is here I just declare one variable called greetings. Okay, I say good morning, and I just try to uh, console this variable. And if I come to the terminal, I just say that deno run hello.ts, and of course don't forget to pass the flag basically, right? And I press enter, and it says good morning. So basically it prints it means our demo is running fine, and we can see how easy it is. Okay, now let's try another one, which is HTTP package. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to copy this whole bunch of code. Okay, and I come here to my VS Code and I create a new file called simple server. Okay, .ts. Let it be like this, simple server.ts. Okay, press enter, paste this code as it is. Okay, and what it this code means that it it takes the package serve package from this location server.ts. Okay, and then we have a server. Okay, which is listening a port 8000. Okay, and then it has a log of this port, and then we have a down here a wait. Okay, and this will be waiting for the request of the server. Okay, and then based on the request it returns a response of a body. Okay, so let's try to run this. So deno run hello net. Okay, oops, sorry, hello net, and then file simple server.ts. So what it does basically, it compiles the ts file. Okay, and then it runs on this 8000 port. So if I go here, come here, and then if I say local host colon 8000, run enter, and it prints the hello world, which is fine. And if I come back here, and it's running. So this was the basic example to show you that how this files run in the Deno. So it's time to build a real API. Okay, so so to build that, first of all, let me close this and let me delete this files. Okay, delete. And now we create a new file called server.ts, of course. And the first thing in this to develop this API, we need some packages basically. And if I come here in the website, if I come in the website, we can search up. There is a very good package to develop the API. Here in this packages, where should be third-party modules basically. And if I come to here, if you see here, I searched before basically. So it's Oak actually. So Oak is a very good example for the Deno if you want to develop the APIs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this Oak packages to develop the API, basically REST API. So I come here, okay, and then what I can do is that first I can just import. Okay, I need a application basically, and then routes from and it is should be from https deno.lan. Okay, and then x/oak/mod.ts. Okay, and why it is highlighting? Because it's not the routes, it's basically a router. So we have these two modules imported from the oak. So the first one is app, okay, and this application basically. This application is basically a class which register a middleware, okay, and then via .use, okay, and then after that it listen up and it process inbound request against the middleware via .listen method, okay. And similarly, the route is initial route for the our application. Okay, what it does actually, it's an interface registering a middleware that will run when certain HTTP method and paths are requested, as well as provided a way to parameterize parts of the request path. Okay, so what we have to do is right now. So the port of our application will be, let's say, const, okay, app. So I'm gonna run my application on the 4200 port. Okay, you can give it as per your choice, and then I create a variable called app. Okay, oh sorry, this is my mistake. It should not be app, it should be a port. Okay, and I come here, and then this app, basically I need a new instance of application. Okay, and then I have to declare a route for our application basically. So it's a const router, okay, and then new router. Okay, now what I can do is okay, so we have to now declare a await, okay, to listen the port. So what I can do is just give the port here, okay, and in the here we can say console.log with the inside the double click listening port from port. Okay, and okay, now let's try to run this file. So I come here and then I cancel this, just clear a little bit, and then let's try to run this file. It's a Deno run server. Before this I need to pass the flag allow net and then server.ts. Run this file. So we get the error because it is looking for the middleware, and we haven't declared the middleware yet. So what we can do is right now we will down here, okay, we have to say something like app.use, okay, router.routes, okay, and then app.use, basically router.allowed methods. Here you can restrict the method if you want only a post method or a get method only, whatever you want. You can just but at this point I'm saying that allow all methods. Okay, and then here I say, okay, router dot get. Okay, let's say what my API path should be API v1 and then v1 and then let's say users, and as a second parameter I pass the response. Okay, in the second parameter basically a arrow function name, and then this this takes a parameter as a response, and this the response type could be anything. Okay, and then I do a arrow function, and then I say, okay, after this get request, give me the response. So it should be response.body equal to, I'll say that hello world. Fine. Now let's save this and let's try this clear a little bit, and then let's say Deno run allow net, sorry, server.ts. Okay, and I press enter, it compiles, and now our app is running on the 4200 port, which is here. Okay, and if we want to see the APIs running, I'm using Postman to see the APIs. Okay, so what I do is here I put HTTP localhost 4200 and then API v1 and slash users, and you see we get this hello world. So our API is hitting the server, and we get the result as a hello world. Okay, so this was the basic router we have just created. Now I want to separate this router from this server.ts. So what basically we have to do is we have to just come here and create a new file called routes. Okay, and then just come here in the server.ts, just take this part, the import basically, paste it, and we don't need this application here, and what we need from here is this one actually, not this one, sorry, this one, the initializer. So we come here, we just say init routes basically. Okay, so and what else we can take it from there is just this part. You can come here, this is our router.get method, and then down there we can just simply say export default router, and here we can say import, not we don't need any parentheses because it's a default export here. So we say import router from routes. Okay, okay, so it should be this one. Wait, it should be, sorry, it should be basically basically .ts since it's not a package. Okay, and then save, and then let's stop this again and run this server.ts again to see the similar result. Basically just run this and then come to this postman and send, and then you see the result is similar. Okay, since we separated our routes, so it's time to separate this method as well. So what we can do is here we just create a folder here called controller. Okay, sorry, controllers, and then inside this we can have a one file called users.ts, because we are developing a API for the users information, and this users information will have a ID, will have a first name, last name, and date of birth, and the qualifications. Okay, so this is the file which we're gonna use for to separate it out the methods, and the other file we need at this level is called users.model.ts. Okay, so in this file what we can do is it will be an interface for our demo data, which will be used in users.ts file. So let's declare interface export interface. Okay, called users, and in this interface we'll have a ID as a string, and then we'll have a first name as a string, and we'll have a last name as a string. We'll have a date of birth as a string at the moment, and then qualification as a string. Okay, and then we come here, we just import this interface file here. It's users, basically users from user.model, of course .ts, and then we can have a variable which is a variable of the users, and of course it uses the type will be users as an array, and then we can have a object inside this array. The first one is ID. Okay, and it's one, basically it's a string. The second one is first name. Okay, first name is say John, and the last name, okay, the last name is Doe, and the DOB could be anything, 110, and then qualification could be anything, Bachelor of Science, whatever it is. Okay, and then we can have in this array, for example, three users right now. You can just quickly change the two, instead of John, say Michael, whatever. You can change the date of birth to 52, the qualification Bachelor of Arts, and then this should be a 3, and this should be a anything else like Michael, You can change this to 82. We can say this as arts. So and down here what we can do is we can say this our first route for this API, that will be our get method. So here we'll say get method for all users basically, and then routes for get should be API v1/users. Okay, and then we can have a const, basically a method get users, which is arrow function, and inside this arrow function we can have a parameter which is a response, and then type of this response could be any. Okay, and then we can just return the response dot body equal to users, right? And here in the routes we can do is what we have to do is, now since we have declared this get user method, we have to export this, export get users. Okay, and then we have to call this method here. So is import get users from controllers users.ts. Okay, and then just remove this part and say get users. Okay, and save it. Now let's try to run this. Cancel this one, run this again, come to the postman, and this is our get users, and just try to send. Boom. So we have the array of our users. So this get is working. So now let's try to do a basically another one. Let's say if we want to get the user by ID. So here we'll have get user, and then a route for this will be get API version 1 users /ID. Okay, so what we want to do here is, now we want a user as per ID. So we'll say const get user, a single user basically. Same, the arrow function, and what we'll have as a parameter, we'll have a params. Okay, and then a response, and the type of that will be params any, and the response any. Basically this one is this param is basically ID and type is string. Okay, so here we have two parameters, params and response. So the params type is ID, basically a string, and the response type is response any. Okay, now let's have another variable called const user. Okay, so the type is users, and then we'll define undefined. If user is not there, it will return undefined, and then users dot find, and then user takes user dot id equal to params dot id. Okay, so what it will do is that we'll have a user. Okay, so we'll loop through and we'll find the user.id is equal to param.id, and then after that we'll check we'll check if it is user, then response.status will be 200. Okay, and then response dot body will be an object. Under that we'll say success true, and we'll say data will be users, and in else condition, basically what we can do is, in else condition, if we don't find the users, we can say status 404, which is not found, right? And response dot body will be success false, and then instead of data we can return as a message saying no user found. Okay, let's save it. Now let's try to run this. So I have a problem with my mouse. Let's stop this one. Oops, sorry, Control C. Let me clear this one and then run again. We have to export this get user as well, sorry. And then we have to come in the routes, and then in the routes we can have another get for the user, basically API users /1, and then get users. It should be basically an ID. Okay, now we can save this file, run the server.ts again. Now we can come here and check, basically. So we can have another tab here. You just copy this and we can paste it here, and then we say users ID is 1. So what happened? It doesn't return anything here. What's wrong? Should be API v1 users 1. Yeah, that's true. Let's check it out here. What's wrong? Sorry, it's a typo here. So it should be, I didn't include the import here. So it should be a get user and save it. Let's stop this one, run again, come here again, and then still there is something missing. Okay, so the problem was not here. The problem was in this string. Actually, I missed the v1, and after that I had to run this again. So let me cancel this one and then run again. Okay, now let's try again one more time. So I think it's yeah, so it's working fine. Okay, so let's try to basically add users method, and let's try to add users in our user.ts file. So what we can do is here we can come down. Okay, and this will be another method which will be actually add user, and the route for this will be a post, and then it will be a API v1 and then users. So let's say const add user. Okay, and then there will be a arrow function. Okay, and then let's space here, and what it will do, it takes up two parameters basically. One is the request, another one is response. Okay, and then there will be a request type any, and then response type any. Okay, so what we will do is here we say const body equal to await for the request basically, and then request.body function. Okay, since we have a await here, we have to add a async here. Okay, so it will wait for the request, right? Once it get the request here, it will check if request has body is false. Basically, if there is no information in the request, we'll say response status 400, and then response.body success false, of course, and then message we can say no data. And in the else condition, basically what we can say is we can have a const user, which is a type of users, and then body.value. Okay, and then user.id, basically v4 dot generate. Okay, basically what we'll do here is actually once we add the users, okay, we will create a dynamic ID, because since we don't have a real DB connected with this app. So what we can do is we can just for the new record, we can have a package called uuid. So we can have import v4 basically, and then from it will have this package from https deno.lang.std uid mod.ts. Okay, so this is the package we are going to use to generate a dynamic ID once the user is added. Okay, so here, okay, so we are in the else condition. Yeah, so what we can do is we can say users dot push user. Okay, just, and then response dot status get 201, and then response dot body as an this is an object, and inside we can say status true, and then data user, and then message. So after adding the user, we'll say that user added successfully. Okay, what else? Okay, so I think this one is okay. So let me explain you again. So when we add the user, we will take a request and response as a parameter, and then we wait for the request, and once the request is there, we'll say that if we don't find any user, we send the status to 400, and then the body, as in the body we say success false and the message no data. And in the else condition, if we have a user in the request, we can have a user which is the body dot value. Okay, and then we'll have a user dot id which is generated from this package. Okay, and then we can push that user in this users array, and then we say that response dot status 2201, and then response dot body is basically a status true, data will be our user, added user, and then the message is user added successfully. So the next step is just to add this one here, get, no, not get, it's add user. Okay, and then come to the routes, we just import add user here, and then here in this just copy this part and paste, and instead of get we say post, and then we just have this part only and save it. Come to here, stop this server again and run again. Running. Okay, come to this postman and create another tab, and this will be a post basically, and the request is basically the API request will be users. Okay, and if we just send this, we say, because we didn't pass any information to this call, so it says that success false and no user found. So what we have to do is we have to pass the body, okay, which will be a raw, and which will be a type JSON. And what we can do here is we can have basically a name, sorry, first name, anything. You can say George, the last name, Bush, DOB. You'll say anything. 1954. Who knows? Okay, and then qualification will be something like masters in science. Okay, so what's wrong? Bad string. Why bad string? Okay, so I think the problem is here. It's a double quote. It should be in the double quote because this is a postman. It expect the double quote everywhere. So let's do it quickly. So here, 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 and this last part. Okay, fine. So now if we do a post here, no user found. This is the post. Wait, let me verify here. What's wrong? Maybe we didn't use this one. Okay, now looks like we are okay. Just stop this one. Run again. Come to here and then do it. See, now we have added a user here, the George Bush, and then if you see, it generates the unique ID for this record. And if I come here in the get all users, we say, and here if you see, we have another users added here. Okay, so if we come here, we run the server again, and we come and then we call this API again, it will be lost. This user will be lost because this one is the in memory. Okay, so now let's go to the routes, not the routes, go to the users and create another one, which is our delete user. Okay, and the routes for delete user will be delete and API, sorry, and it's API slash v1 slash users, and we have to give the ID which we want to delete. So now we have a const, delete user. Okay, and then we have an arrow method here, and then we say what we need, the same, basically a params and the response. Okay, and the type of this params, basically ID string, and then response will be any. Okay, so there is a typo string. Okay, and then we come here, we'll say users equal to what we can do is simply, it's a simple JavaScript. We want to use it here. We say users.filter. Okay, and in this filter we say give us the user.id, which is not the params.id. Okay, and then we return a response body, okay, which is an object. So we say success true, message, basically user deleted successfully, and then we can return the user. Okay, and that's it. And we have to add this delete user here, and similarly in the routes we say delete API /v1 /users ID, and then delete user. Okay, and then save it. Let's stop this, run this again, and then we have this delete here, and then if we press send, so now if you see that the number one which we want to delete, the ID basically is deleted, so we get this success. Okay, so now let's try to get the last one in the user, which will be basically update user. It will be a API v1, and then it will be a users, and then basically a ID. So again the same thing, we have to const update user, another arrow method basically, and here we'll pass params request and then response. So we need three things basically to update the user, and the type of this will be params. Okay, that the type of params is ID, basically string, and then we have a request which will be a type of any, and then a response which will also be a any. It is a type response. Okay, and then we can say const user, which will be a users type users, and if it is not there then we'll say it's undefined, and then we say user.find user, basically so user.id equal to params.id. Okay, we will loop through the users array and find where the user.id is equal to params.id. Fine, and then we'll say if user, if we find the user basically, and if we find the user, what we have to do is we have to say const body, and then await request.body basically, and then on the top here we say async, of course, Once we get the request.body, then what we have to do is const update data. We will create a updated data, basically not update data, updated data, and then we say first name. Basically, if it is not declared there, we say the ternary operator on, and then last name, ternary operator on, string, and then DOP, ternary operator on, which will be also a string, and then qualification string. Okay, and then this on the ternary operator, and then we say is equal to body dot value. Okay, so what it does, it wait for the requested body, and then based on that we'll create an object which will be a type of the value of the body will be the type of this subject basically. And then we have a user equal to users. We have to map basically users dot map user, and let's do it this way. We say user dot id equal to parents dot id. Then what we're gonna return, we're gonna say give me the user, add this user, and give me the updated data or user. Okay, this will be users basically. Okay, let's have some space here, and then after this we'll construct the status response dot status equal to 200, and then response dot body equal to response dot body equal to status true. Okay, and then the data will be users, and the message user updated successfully, something like that. But we are in the if condition. If we find the user, and if not, else, we'll have to return the response dot status equal to 404 basically, and then response dot body equal to success false, and then message will be no user found. Right, save it, and then add this method down here, update user. Save it, come here, come in the routes, and then just copy this one, just change to this one as update. Sorry, this will be a put basically, user ID, and then it should be a update user. Okay, now let's stop this and run it again. Fine, and then go to the Postman. We'll have another one here. So what we're gonna do is we say put for the update basically. So we just copy this one, come here, and then it's a put, and then let's say we want to update this one, the first record. We in the body we say this raw data, and then in the JSON we pass the. So basically we want to update the first name of this record. So whatever the name was, we can just update to the random name Richard basically, and then we can just update the last name as well, Richard I don't know, Ibrahim, and we want to update the qualification as well. Masters, and I don't know, any technical field, science, technical, masters in technical. I don't know this education exists or not, but let's say send, and yes, we can have the updated message successfully, and the first one we have updated says now Richard Ibrahim, right? And the status is true. We return the whole array of the data with the updated record, which is the Richard Ibrahim. And if we come back here, we say, because if you see the ID, which is one is John Doe, if we update here, it will say Richard Ibrahim. Okay, cool enough. So looks like we have implemented the API, REST API in the Deno, and now it's time to use this API with the Angular. What do you say? I think it's a good idea. Angular is a front end and Deno is a backend. Okay, let's try to do this.